Welcome everyone to the Unfiltered Talk podcast. This is episode 2. Very excited.
Yeah.
I can't stop laughing. Dude. I'm very excited for my first guest on the podcast, Logan Fano, Tinder King in Provo, Utah. Wait, sorry. Wait, my bad.
Really?
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that right now.
That's crazy.
Oh, shit, sorry, Bumble King. Damn, all the apps. Grinder King.
Grinder King is crazy.
Go ahead and say hi to everyone, bro.
So guys, let's go ahead. Excited to be on here with my guy Lemma. It's been a long time, bro.
Dude, it's been a minute, bro.
It's been a long time, but glad to be here, bro.
Because I think last time I saw you, when did you announce you were transferring? That was in January, right?
No, I announced December 6th. December 7th, actually.
Oh, before the bowl game.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, perfect timing. I didn't get the...
Hella, man.
Yeah, bro.
Bro, here's the thing. When people transfer from BYU, it's like the fans come out of the woodworks on social media. You got like, I mean, not really that. All the players pretty much understood, I feel like, because I remember like we all sent you a text message like, bro, hope, like, wish you the best. Hope everything works out, you know. But when we looked on Twitter, it was like, what's going on? You know, like, why is Logan leaving? Like, he's not going to be able to get, you know, what do you think when people, like, when you get that reaction from the fan base that you were representing?
I mean, part of it affects you for sure. Like, I don't know, a lot of what I did was, I wanted the fans to, be a fan of me as a person, as a player, but at the end of the day, I didn't really know any of them. The only people I knew were the boys on the team, and like you said, I got tons of support from the boys that, it meant a lot to me, for sure, to get all that support, and the boys just understanding, like, it just wasn't the best fit. And then I had the chance to play with my brother, so.
I feel like, because like when we have players that left BYU, we had like Dallin Holker, Keenan Peely, guys who were like prominent players on the team. And obviously you were one of the highest recruited prospects that came from Utah, committed to BYU. And then when they choose to leave, it's like, people think it's for like selfish reasons like NIL. For you, what was the reason you chose Utah?
It was 100% to play with my brother. I mean, just sitting back and thinking about it, like, if anybody just sits and thinks about the opportunity they would have to play with their brother, somebody that they're super tight with, like me and my brother, we've been like this since we were little kids. And so having that opportunity and really thinking about it, letting it sit, it's like, man, I can't pass something like that up. Like, that's a blessing. And fortunately, everything lined up the way it did. And, here I am. Got to play a couple games with my brother before getting hurt. So,
yeah, as soon as we seen Spencer commit, I was like, damn. Damn, another one lost. Bro, that's like BYU's Achilles heel, bro. It's like when we get like these big recruits and then, they show interest in BYU at first and then things just don't work out. They end up going to other schools and you're like, damn, like, obviously BYU wants all of the in-state prospects to go to BYU. Mm-hmm. But what people don't understand, it's not always a great fit. You know what I mean? So let's take a look at some of these stats from this past year. So I know I did my research, my bad.
Oh, I appreciate you.
Let's see. Totaled 14 tackles on this season with a career best 6 against UCLA, which you guys ended up winning, right?
Yep.
Forced 2 fumbles. Damn, forced 2 fumbles.
That's crazy.
After the Bolos. Recovered 1 via strip sack versus Weber State. Made 2 tackles and had a sack in the game at number 19 Oregon State. And that was the play that you tore your ACL, right?
Yep.
Okay. What happened on that play?
So they just ran a little play action pass, reacted to the run. They had a tight end attached, and so I just got past the tight end. And I got past pretty fast, and so I was like, oh, man, like I have a chance. I could probably punch the ball out. And so I was reaching to get the ball out, kind of threw myself off balance, and the tight end pushed me from the back. But, I understand. I've got to put a hand on somebody. So he pushed me from the back. I'm already off balance, get the quarterback. But when I land, my foot just lands weird, and there goes my ACL. So
yeah, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Keenan Peely's ACL injury in 2021, I think. He had made a tackle, but when he fell on the ground, his leg like whipped.
Yeah.
And you could just see, I mean, oh, dude, I feel bad for all those guys that get injuries like that because it's like, it's honestly a freak accident. It's really not anything that you can plan for. But when it comes to Utah and their training program, weightlifting, how do you feel like they prepare you guys? I mean, one for the game, but also for like rehab and overcoming injuries.
Bro, everything is so smooth over there. Obviously, like maybe it's not higher up, but for the players' perspective, it's super smooth. I think it's a well-known thing at Utah that being relentless is a part of the program. And so in every part, it's literally part of every session, every film study, whatever, like being relentless is literally engraved in the program. And so, weight training, man, my first week at Utah was like Yeah, it was rough, bro. It was rough. Like, you got to get used to competing every single day, and just again, just being relentless, bro.
Well, not only it being your first year, it was also you were coming off an injury, your ACL at BYU, which happened during was it a one-on-one session or was it a blocking session? That we had?
It was during scoop and reach, or the double team.
Yeah, the double teams. Yeah. And who was I think it was Kingsley that you were going up.
Yeah.
Dude, this guy and Kingsley were going head to head during all of spring ball, bro. And like you won some, there were some he had. But I think for the most part, the coaches were like, after spring ball, we were like, dude, Logan's going to be the guy, bro. Like, thank goodness that job is safe. You know?
I appreciate that, bro.
No, for real, bro. Because honestly, like when we have high school players come in, like obviously the players are sitting there like, you know, this dude's here to take my job. You know? But like, and there's a little bit of skepticism that we always maintain so that we can, you know, always be confident coming in. But as soon as I think like you and there was a few other players that came in that were like, dude, these guys are going to be ballers, you know, no matter where they go. So
appreciate that.
We had a few fan questions, and I sent them to you so you kind of know a little bit what to expect. But one of the fan questions that I felt like would be, you know, would be a good way to kind of let the fans know what you were thinking. What's the biggest difference between the football program at BYU and at University of Utah that you've noticed?
First, I'm super grateful for my time at BYU. Like, I learned what I had to learn, went through what I had to go through at BYU, but I don't know. I would say Utah is just a lot better fit for me, and that it is what it is. Like, from the coaching, the players, like, obviously I got my boys at BYU, but at Utah, man, it's really pushed me to level up as a not only as a football player, but as a person, man. Like, I've seen myself grow so much since I've been in Salt Lake, and it's really everything that, you know, I've been praying for and hope for.
And I think that's a good point there. Is like, it's not about the quality of the program all the time. It's more just like the personal fit for the player. And so that's what I try to explain to people on social media. Cause like on Twitter, when Dallin Hoker left, like you can see the reaction that he got, bro, when he left. And obviously his exit from the program was a little more dramatic, but now look at him. He's the guy for Colorado State. Yep. He's probably going to be, you know, top 3 round pick, you know? And so guys who make decisions like that for themselves, it's like, dude, I'm not mad at it. Like, none of the players get mad. That's the thing, bro. Like, when you left, I was like, dude, he's chasing his one to go play with his brother, and there may also be some like some NIL thing behind it. That's not an inherently bad thing. You know what I mean? Because I feel like college students, especially, or college athletes, they're probably the most like under-resourced. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, you have your scholarship check, but then other than that, it's not like you can go get a job and pay for other bills.
And we talked about this. I remember like our first time eating lunch together at BYU, you were like, Murrow, if you really like, it's nice to get that stipend, but if you really add up the stipend through the month, it's like you make below minimum wage, bro.
It's like $12,000, bro.
Yeah,
a year.
And you think as a college kid, you're like, man, I'm good, I'm straight, but yeah, man, it's really not that much. So,
and on top of that, well, I guess I should ask you, like, how's the NIL status at Utah? How do you feel like it is?
It's good, bro. It's good. Obviously, we had the trucks, which was super sweet. I'm still waiting for mine to come in, but it's been super cool, man. Just seeing how the coaches have adapted to it's a new thing now, and so seeing how the coaches are willing to step into that field it's been super cool for sure.
Do you think there's more of a willingness to kind of, you know, explore those options with NIL at Utah than maybe what? I mean, at least I feel like that's how it is. Do you feel like that's true for Utah?
Yeah, I say so. And then, I mean, part of it, you know, BYU has to follow a different set of rules and whatnot, and has to maintain a different image. So I'm not saying anything against BYU, but it's just different, bro. Like Utah, they have that freedom. They can go and, you know, do what they got to do to get some guys. So
yeah, I agree. And I think that's why they've been winning the recruiting battle for the longest time. I mean, dude, you guys have ballers up there, bro. That Sione Vaki, bro.
That dude, bro.
To play both ways,
yeah,
and then to make an impact like the way that he has, like that's tight, bro.
Yeah,
you know. And I tried playing both ways, but they said, I was like, Coach, I can throw. Coach Roderick, for real.
Coach, let me know, Coach.
All right, put your hand in the dirt, buddy. All right, that's all good. I'm not hurt about that. It's all good.
That's crazy.
Okay, so the next question that we got: how much trash talk goes on during the games?
Bro, honestly, against O linemen, never. I've never had any trash talk with O linemen, just because, like, bro, you're so tired during the game. Like, you don't really have anything to say to them. It's really just like mutual respect at the end of the game. But tight ends, bro, for some reason, tight ends have a thing for talking crazy. I remember we were playing against Baylor, and they ran a pin pull, and I got caught in between the tight end and the tackle, and so the tight end crashed down on me, and I'm trying to get outside, bro. He grabbed my face mask and twisted my face mask behind my head, and so I don't know where I'm at on the field, bro. I'm just running, like I'm trying to get wide, but all I see is black. Like I'm not even playing. My face mask is back here, back of my helmet is right here, bro, and I'm running to get to the sideline, try to set the edge, but I know he's running me out of bounds. So I get out of bounds. He throws my helmet off, and he looks at me and goes, "Hey, better buckle up that chin strap, boy." I was like, "Bro, what? Buckle up my chin strap? Like, we're face masking?
That's a flag.
I was like,
That's a flag.
Yeah, I was so confused. I was like, okay, whatever. Put my helmet on. So funny. The rest threw the flag, 15-yard penalty, face mask. I was like, dude, that was like really odd encounter.
Bro, that's funny you bring that up because I played tight end my freshman year.
Yeah.
And then when I came back from my mission in 2019, I played tight end for the 2019 season. And dude, that is the absolute truth. Those guys in that room, bro.
Bro.
I mean, and here's the thing: is like tight ends typically have like there's like a perception that people have of tight ends, and so we're constantly fighting that perception,
yeah.
You know, that we're soft guys or whatever, you know, because we catch the ball. Sometimes we run routes, and so you know, you had guys like Kyle Griffiths and you know that were just constantly had a chip on their shoulder, you know. That's funny that you bring that up, bro. But so what game was that? That was the Baylor game.
Baylor, dude. It was like, I don't know. I was like, bro, like the only time you'll block me is like you crack down, pin pull. Like we never have a one-on-one. Anyways, it was weird, bro.
That's also funny because you know the kinds over there, Coach Grimes and Coach Mateos, and those guys, man. One thing I will say is like I never had a good experience with them.
Yeah,
but they always busted their ass when coaching. Like Coach Mateos was cutthroat, bro. Like that guy was, and he constantly tried to instill like that reckless abandon in his players. So like I respected it because when they were here, our O-line was
solid.
Top O-line in the nation. Then when they left,
that's crazy.
And then 2020 we had a good year.
Yeah.
2021 wasn't bad either, but you kind of noticed that drop off a little bit in the last few games, at least for me as a fan because I'm no longer there.
Yeah, bro, it's interesting. Like you see players start to take over the personality of their coach. I just think as I've played for a little while, like not a little while, but I've been in college football. It's been interesting to see how certain programs take over the identity of their coach.
Dude, that's a great statement right there. I feel like that's kind of what the O-line is taking on. I'm not that Coach Funk is a bad coach, but his personality is a little more laid back, you know. Yeah. And so you could definitely see that there's a bit of a difference, and whether that difference is good or bad, that's for the fans to determine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's we got a good question over here. Okay, so Spencer, bro. Spencer, obviously one of the top, one of the top linemen recruits in the nation, right? Mm-hmm. If you and him did 10 one-on-ones with your brother, how many are you winning?
Probably 10.
10?
No, I'm just playing. Honestly, I probably win 5 out of 10. That's my honest answer. But my other honest answer is I'd probably win all of them. So
wait, hold on. So I forget Utah's education system. They got a different education. So
wow.
So you're saying, okay, honest answer, you would say you guys are evenly matched.
Yeah, I say so.
Your other honest answer, you're beating him 10
my
out of
truth.
10.
My truth.
Yeah,
my truth. I'm winning 10 out of 10.
He's a true Salt Lake guy.
Wow.
Hey, okay, all right. So I'm gonna go. From what I've seen from Spencer, bro, he is probably one of the most athletically gifted offensive line recruits that have come through Utah. Obviously, he's a freshman, so it's like that jump that you make from high school to college is pretty big. How do you feel like he's adjusting so far?
Really well, bro. Obviously, like you got to remember he's playing a different position. He usually plays right tackle. And it was a goal of his to start as a freshman, and there's an opening at left tackle, which I think is the second hardest position in football behind quarterback.
Sure. Yeah. And
so for him as a freshman to step in, start at the second hardest position in all of football, I think he's adjusted super well. And I'm not saying that. Obviously, I'm a proud older brother, but just looking at it from a pure football perspective and the degree of difficulty that he's had to overcome. It's been super cool to watch. And as an older brother, it's like, man, I'm watching him every single day. Like he's studying, he's doing everything he can to fill that gap. Like you said, high school, you're playing high school kids, and then you go and you're blocking Washington defensive ends, Oregon defensive end, USC defensive ends. Like, that's a huge jump. And so for him to do that and to take it in stride and to be playing as well as he's playing, man, I'm super proud of him. Yeah.
That's awesome, bro. Yeah, and you can tell he's working hard too, because I feel like the improvements he's making throughout the season have been like monumental, you know?
Yeah, oh, for sure. Like, he wasn't, I struggled a little bit at the beginning of the season for sure, just getting his feet wet. But I mean, you could see it in practice every single day. Like, he's getting better. He's getting better. And you could already see like the footwork, athleticism. It was about him just putting it together.
That's tight, bro. Yeah. That's funny you bring up the jump from, or we've been talking about the jump from high school to college. Because when I had first gotten recruited, I was a linebacker, but I got switched over to tight end. Yeah. And one of the first games I played in was against UCLA. Bro, All-American DN, bro. Yeah. All-American DN. And
who was the DN at the time?
I can't remember his name. I can see his face.
Yeah.
Because he was all up in my grades.
I can vividly remember his.
I can vividly remember. But I just remember like because in California at the high school I went to, like we played against some decent competition. It wasn't great. It was mainly during the 7-on-7 that we got to get that exposure to like the D1 schools.
Yeah.
But bro, that first game was a grown ass man laying hands on me. Yes, sir. I was over there just trying to stop him from, you know what I mean? You just try to lose as slowly as you can. That's the jump that I feel like that high school players make. You try to not lose, right? Yeah. Whereas you're not trying to win because you don't have the physicality yet, right? The strength that you need. But that's all built through the weight room, and that develops, right?
I think just getting experience too, bro. Like, just playing in games is huge, man. Like, that's so funny you say that, that you're playing not to lose rather than playing to win. It's like, even for me, when I got first game against Florida, I feel like I was more worried about not messing up, and I was more worried about not looking bad on national TV rather than doing my job making plays. Now, as the season progressed, obviously, I got hurt pretty early on, but as the season progressed, I felt like game by game, I was more like, all right, like, now I'm playing to beat this guy, and I'm getting more comfortable, and you can see the same thing with my brother too. That's a super good point, bro, for sure.
By the way, Life Water, sponsor us, damn it. All right, next question. Let's see. Okay, so this is a good one, and this is more of one to kind of put on for the culture. So growing up, who were some of the local Polynesian talents that you looked up to or grew up watching?
That's a great question. Well, the first names that come to mind are my cousins, Gabe and Karene. I watched like every single one of their games growing up, and so those names come to mind. I also think of Isaac Asiata from Spanish Fork. I remember him going to Utah and then playing the NFL. That was big for me, coming from the same city. Mace Funa, that name comes to mind. A lot of people don't remember he played at Spanish Fork his freshman year, and so watching him play ball out as a freshman, I'm pretty sure he was a corner. Dude, he was insane, bro. You got to watch his highlights, bro. He's a DN now, but he played corner.
He played corner.
Dude, he was insane, bro. Mace is a big one, but I think the one I've tried to emulate the most is probably Karene Reed for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And so I guess when it comes to like, what things do you look for, or what things did you notice in their gameplay that you tried to emulate?
Just how smooth he played the game. Like, I'm a big basketball guy. Basketball is my favorite sport, and I always felt like,
that's what I'm talking about.
Bro, I always felt like Karene played football like he was playing basketball.
Yeah.
Like, just super fluid, super smooth, playing fast, and I've always just been like, all right, I just want to play like that. Like, I want to make what I do look effortless like that. So.
Sure, you should come into one of my Elder Quorum games. You see how smooth I play.
One of your church ball games, bro. No.
Bro, we play, they play every Saturday morning at like, they start at like 7 a.m. and stuff, bro. And it's so funny showing up because you get guys who are like, especially in the poly world, they're all ex-players, right? They're guys who have played in high school, maybe have played in college, maybe some even at the pro level. And you can see the body or like the mind, like they want to do what they used to do.
But the body won't let them, bro.
My groin. You know?
Dude, you know who surprised me, who I should have assumed was good at basketball, is Harvey. Bro, he is so cold at basketball. I remember me and Raider, shout out to Raider. Me and Raider were at the rec, bro, and Harvey was playing. And I was like, okay, like this is dope. Like Harvey, like he's the man, bro. Balling. I'm like, all right, I think we're gonna come play over here, warm up real quick, and then we'll come play against Harvey.
And he's still physical too, bro. When he's down in the paint, oh man, never mind. I don't want to. Because I've been on his team. I've been on his team, and I've been against him. Yeah. And like you can tell he's still got a little juice in him. You know what I mean? That's funny you brought up Harvey, man. Shout out to Harvey.
Shout out Harvey,
the GOAT, man, bro. For real. Okay, here's another one. So this I added this one in because I feel like this is something that'll help a lot of high school athletes and college athletes that have struggled with like injuries.
Yeah.
So what's one piece of advice you'd leave with young athletes who struggle with constant injuries?
I don't think I can give anybody a solid like this works for everybody type of answer, but what's worked for me has been just knowing that I was put here on earth with a purpose, and I'm supposed to, you know, accomplish that purpose while I'm here. And so being able to find that out, it's hard. It's hard discovering your purpose for sure. But just the way I was raised, I think has helped me figure that out. And then it's hard, bro. It's so hard. I remember telling myself after I tore my ACL at BYU, let me backtrack. So I went on my mission, and I was struggling with a lot of things on my mission, like just stuff that I'd met with Bishop, gotten things cleared up, but there were still things that were just playing with my mind when I was on my mission. And I had ended up, you know, considering taking my own life on mission. Like it got pretty serious, and my parents got involved, and you know, they honorably released me, sent me back home, and there was just so much that I was dealing with. Then football, I started playing football at BYU, and bro, things were going good. I was like, man, you know, maybe I was supposed to come back and I was supposed to play football. And then I turned my ACL, and I was like, man, I wish I could say what I actually said, but like, dude, I was so mad at God, bro. I was like, God, why? Like, first I felt like you told me I was supposed to go on a mission, then I came home early. Then I feel like, okay, maybe I was supposed to play football, then I get hurt. And I told myself, man, if I ever hurt my knee again, I'm probably gonna be done playing football. Like, I don't know if I can do this again. And then just the recovery process I went through at BYU was, it wasn't the best, just to be honest. It wasn't the best. My leg is still kind of developing, even after my ACL surgery down south. And there was a lot that I was dealing with, that I was going through mentally and physically. And I think just what I had to keep coming to was that, one, I have a loving Heavenly Father, and two, He has a plan for me. And bro, it gets so hard. It honestly gets so hard to be in that mode. Like, regardless of where you're at in life, like you're gonna reach that wall, and you just don't know, you know, what the plan is. You think you have the plan, but it's kind of like a test, bro. Like, you're taking the test, but you're not supposed to have the answers, and that part sucks, bro. And so what I would tell people is just be patient, first of all, and then just know that God loves you regardless of the mistakes you made, what you've done in the past, what you might do in the future. Like, His love for you is it's forever, bro. It's eternal. So understanding that has been huge. And then going to this, tore my ACL, and I knew right away when we were in Corvallis playing Oregon State, I knew right away that my ACL was gone.
Yeah.
And so you can see on the tape, bro, like I tried to stand back up.
Yeah. And
then I was like, nah, screw it. I'll just sit back down. Like, I know it's gone. And I told myself, all right, I'm going to go to the tent, get it out in the tent, and then I'm right back out, and we're just going to attack this process. And I think a lot of that I owe to just the way the coaching is at Utah and the culture at Utah. Like, the coaches, they love you, but they're going to push you. Like, they know, you know, they love you as a person, but we're here to win football games. We're here to play football. And so I think just having that ingrained in my mind, like, nothing can stop me. And I've been through, you know, Camp Kyle, I've been through all this stuff at Utah, all this stuff at BYU, having all of that in the back pocket on my mission, and just knowing, like, you know what, if I know I'm relentless, I know that I'm a warrior, and so, you know, if I know I can get through this. And I think if anybody else is struggling with that, just find your purpose, find your why.
That's a good way to put it. I feel like the mission, especially, is a good place to kind of, because whether you serve all 24 months or not, is a good place to kind of find out, like, your identity, right? You're gonna have like these crises. You're gonna have these crises. Yeah, you're gonna have these crises where, like, you got to figure out who you are, what your gifts are, right? How are you gonna utilize them? Now, there's some people who use that for, for good causes, and there's some who don't, who end up leaving the church, right? And but I feel like that's like a common ground that a lot of people have with their mission, is that they always run into some sort of crisis where it has to do with either their identity, has to do with, like, their abilities, right? Or even their relationship with Heavenly Father. Yeah. And so that's cool that you kind of use that as a way to, like, overcome whatever mental or emotional challenges that you had. How do you think football has kind of nurtured that relationship with God?
Man, there's a lot of moments in football, you know this, bro, where you feel like you see God on the field. Bro, dude. Like you're sitting there and you're like, man, maybe it's time, bro. And so there's a lot of times in football, especially at a young age, bro. Like you don't want to play football, but your parents want you to play football. You know, like bro, being Polynesian, like your parents are, all right, you got to play football. Like this is the only way. This is the only way you got to play. And you're out there as a little kid. You're like, man, I just want to go home and like play Lego Batman or something. Personally, I played a lot of Lego Batman, but it was like a lot of times you're like, all right, you know what? I love Jesus. Heavenly Father loves me. Just like those simple truths as a little kid, and you kind of nurture those. And I feel like football is the perfect. It's the perfect. A lot of people say this, like it's setting. A lot like life. Yeah, like it's the perfect simulation of life, where obviously you get knocked down, all that stuff, but just where it tests you, constantly tests you every single day. You know, who am I as a person? Where am I spiritually? Where am I physically? Like you're gonna, especially in college, bro. You're gonna have one of those summer days, one of those spring winter workouts, bro, and you're like, damn, like I gotta rely on God to get me through this one, bro. And I don't know, it's football has definitely strengthened my relationship with the Lord in that way, and also just seeing like how He's blessed my life through it. Like I said, I was a basketball player, bro. Like I love basketball. I never enjoyed playing football till, you know, maybe my junior, senior year of high school. Like I just wanted to be a basketball player, but instead, you know, football was the path. And just seeing how He's been able to take my life and change my life, my family's life through football has been cool.
So let's talk. So you brought up the meeting God moments on the field.
Yeah, bro.
So for me, it was the summer workouts, and it wasn't until my friends all make fun of me because like when it came to the summer workouts and the conditioning and all that, I struggled, bro. I am not a long-winded person.
That's us, bro.
Right?
Yeah.
Like when it came to like the Prowlers, the sprints.
Prowlers,
bro. Prowlers, dude. People don't know about the Prowlers that we had to do.
Bro, nobody knows, bro. Whenever somebody says they had a hard workout, I usually like in my mind immediately goes to like, all right, have they ever done a Prowler before? Have they ever done Prowlers in their life? And if the answer is no, I'm like, all right, discredit everything that they said, bro. Those things are so hard. My bad, sorry to cut you off.
No, you straight. No, but like going back to that, like there's times on the field where I literally prayed and I said, God, if you get me through this workout, I promise I'll stop watching those naughty. I'll stop messing with these girls and probably.
You start making deals and stuff, bro. Dude, I saw this video of what's his name? Sanders, the safety that plays at Colorado. But I saw this video.
Shiloh,
yeah, bro. He said something. He was like, man, I made a bet with God. I was like, God, if you give me a pick six, I'll go to church tomorrow. I was like, dude, I started laughing. I was like, bro, I know everybody does that, bro. There'll be days like going to state championship in high school. I'd be like, God, if we win this game, I promise I'll go talk to Bishop. I promise. Like stuff like that, bro. And then we win the game. I'm like, all right, this week.
Bro,
that's so funny.
Those Prowlers are a different animal, bro. When you're pushing on those Prowlers, because there's no rest, right? I mean, you can try to, but it reaches a point where like the blood flow reaches your legs, and it feels like your legs are about to explode, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so you talk with Jesus a little bit,
dude. I remember my first Prowler day at BYU. I don't know if you remember this, but we're supposed to do like 8 Prowlers, but we only ended up doing like 2 or 3.
Yeah, because they couldn't finish.
Bro. And I did my one in. After I did my first one, dude, I looked around. I was trying to see if anybody else was struggling because I was like, dude, I can't feel my legs, bro. Like people say I can't feel my legs. I literally could not feel my legs. And I look at the sideline at guys that have been at BYU for a while. Their legs are up on the wall. They're all getting ready to throw up. I was like, okay, I'm good.
Spraying water on their legs.
Yeah, bro, spraying the water, bro. I was like, I grabbed a water bottle, like, okay, I'm gonna try that out. Maybe that works. Doesn't do anything. It's so funny,
dude. I remember that we had to stop because we only did 4. We were supposed to do 8.
Yeah.
We only did 4, and it was so bad because it was the skill players. Because I mean, obviously the skill players, they're not like powerhouses.
Yeah, they don't have to. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're more speed guys, we just felt so bad, bro.
I remember too, bro. Like I was one of the smaller DNs. I was probably not one of the smaller. I was the skinniest DN in the room. I remember being like, damn, like I gotta prove myself to these guys. Like I gotta show these guys like, oh, I'm strong, or like I'm tough. And so I see guys like freaking Caden Hawes or Nisa like just moving with that stuff. And I get behind them like, all right, let's go. Yeah, come on. On your knees, start inchworm with that thing, bro. That'll definitely you'll see the hand of God with Prowlers, bro, for sure.
So how big are you right now? Because you mentioned obviously you were one of the skinnier DNs at BYU. How big are you now?
So at the U, I'm 6'4". That's not really gonna change, but 6'4", and I got up to 252 at Utah.
Damn, bro.
Yeah,
You okay?
I'm telling the truth, bro. I'm telling the truth.
What? How much did you weigh when you came into BYU?
I was 225, 230, around there when I got to BYU. But that's like a generous 230. More like 220.
Just, bro. I know how it goes, bro. Because when I came in, I was 210,
Huh?
and I was telling everyone I was 225, and they were like, "Oh, really?"
Like, we're 260? 260 now?
Well, not now, bro. This was like 3 years ago, dude. I'm like 270 right now. Shoot.
Damn, okay.
I know. The weight I was supposed to reach at BYU, I'm now that way.
Yeah. Dude, I remember like I came in, I was like, all right, I'm gonna be a linebacker. I'm gonna be like Fred Warner and Kyle Van Noy. Like they're gonna just how I am right now. They're just gonna get me rocked up, dude. My bad. They're
gonna get you rocked
They're gonna
up?
get me like solid, bro. That's what I meant. Like get me big, bro. Pause.
Okay,
But
all right.
I was like, they're gonna get me like strong. I'm gonna get huge at 230. And I meet with one of the coaches. He looked at me. He was like, yep, 270. And I was like, Coach, 270. I've never been past 240. Like, what? I'm not. No.
They want you in that 4-point stance. That's why. They want you in that 4-point.
I was like, okay. I'm not JJ Watt, but all right. Yeah, bro, it's crazy. It's a different world, bro.
I know what it's like to have to put on that weight drastically. Like, when I switched over to defensive line from tight end, I was like 245, 230, or it's like 235, 245. I kind of ranged in between there. And then when I got switched over, they played me at tight end, and they wanted me at like 265, 270. And I was like, by what time of the year?
Yeah. Like, am I going to be a senior when we do this?
Exactly, bro. And that's one thing I should bring up too, because like with athletes that have to like literally change their body composition in order to play a position better, it can be difficult mentally, because I feel like for me, putting on that weight so fast, like it's not all going to be just muscle, right? It's got to be there has to be some level of fat to kind of cushion the body. But for you, how do you maintain because you got to sculpt your body, man. That's just a natural truth of football. You got to sculpt your body. You got to be able to like put on that good muscle. How do you find that balance between doing what the coaches want, but also knowing your body and not pushing yourself too hard?
Well, that's a really good point. I think I'm in a good position where I'm already naturally a skinnier guy. And so for me, it's really just adding on muscle. I don't really have to, in my position too, like I just have to try to get swole. And, that's really all it is. But for guys like, we keep talking about my brother, but for him, he came in, he was like 260 when he got to the U. Bro, he's at like 305, 308 right now. And it's been crazy, like seeing he has a gut now. Like, it's so weird, bro. It's there's no other sport where you have to literally transform to be able to perform. You know what I mean? Like basketball, you got guys like who like 6'7", 170 pounds. Like they don't have to do anything but, work on their skills. Football, man, like you got to alter your body and you got to maintain your technique at the same time. Like, yeah, it's hard, bro. It's hard, man.
And that can be frustrating because I mean, at least for me, because I got switched around at positions a lot. I played DN, then I played defensive tackle, then I got switched back to DN when I was trying to make weight as a defensive tackle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I was trying to put on weight as a defensive tackle, I got slower. I didn't feel as explosive. And then they switched me to defensive end. It's like, dude, you gotta rush. You gotta rush you gotta be able to pass rush. Hold ground a little bit, but it's mainly about that get off the ball.
Especially nowadays, bro. You got to get after the quarterback, and I feel like, man, that's such a hard transition to have a guy go to end. And there's guys on the team at Utah that do it, bro. They'll play tackle, go back to end, play tackle, back to end. It feels like, from a fan's perspective, like it's the same position, but dude, they're two completely different worlds, bro. So
I appreciate it. I feel like at D tackle, it was about holding ground, like for the most part. And I mean, obviously being disruptive in the interior is tough, bro, because you got dogs at center and the right and left guard. And especially when you have a play against a unified O-line that knows each other like the back of their hands, bro, that's a tough thing to do as an interior. Because when you play like at a defensive end, you're gonna go up against tackles and and tight ends.
Yep.
Tight ends are normally not the best blockers.
No,
they don't got the weight to hold it, right? What were some of the best tight ends you played against thus far?
So far this season, shout out to my old teammate Carson Ryan.
Oh, for real?
I played him. He's at UCLA now. He's a good blocker. Let me think, bro. The Florida guy was pretty good at blocking. But none of the other outside of Carson, none of them were like damn, I feel his power. Like, but you know what I mean? Like, none of it was like, damn, like this guy is hella strong.
Would you say like the Utah tight ends are give you more run for your money?
Yeah, and I think that's why in practice, like I was so used to going against guys like Mickey Sungutuanga and Thomas Yasmin every day at practice, and they're just literally trying to take your head off, because if they don't take your head off, they're gonna hear it in film.
Yeah.
And so like literally every single day at practice, you got to go head up with those guys. Yeah, come game time, it was like, all right. That's what I like about Utah, bro. It's like practice is so physical. It's hard as hell. Like practices are so hard, but they're so physical. It's like you get to the game and it's like you're not worried about the physical aspect, because you don't really think there's anybody that has trained as physical as we have.
Yeah.
But then it's like you're just more worried about doing your assignment.
Yeah.
So it kind of takes that pressure off of you.
Dude, you practice how you play, bro. If you practice physical, you practice like you're in hell, you're ready to go onto the field. Yeah. And that's one thing I felt like was lacking last year at BYU, at least from my experience, was practices. We had this time set aside called Prize Bowl. And the reason why is because the Prize Bowl, all he got to do, right? All the Prize Bowl got to do is, multiply and then rest.
Yep.
And the Prize Bowl just sits there like this, like and so we had a period in practice Prize Bowl where we just sat there and rested.
Yep.
And in principle, it made sense because it's like the defensive line are the hardest worked position. Because having to battle with the O-line constantly, every play, bro, is so hard. But now looking back on it, I'm like, that probably wasn't the best.
No, dude, let me tell you my experience, bro. So I was going into fall Camp Kyle, bro, and I'm hearing all this crazy stuff. Guys are like, man, like this is going to be one of the hardest experiences of your life. And I was like, bro, like I've seen a fall camp before. Like I think I'm going to be fine. So, bro, this is non-padded, just helmets. Only 14 periods, and I'm running. It's the third period. I'm like, holy crap! I just gotta wait for our Prize Bowl period, because I thought like everybody did that. I was like, I just gotta wait for the water break. I gotta wait for the auto pops to come out, and then like I'll catch my breath then. We get to period 13. There's no Prize Bowl, no water break, and I was like, all right, well, if I die, I die. Bro, I looked on. This is one of those like I'm seeing God moments, bro. I look on the sideline and I see Coach Scally, and I'm like, man, I can imagine just Jesus standing right behind him. Like I'm trying to get the call, but I'm also trying not to die at the same time. I got off the field and I was talking to one of my teammates, Jonah Ellis, and I was like, bro, we got to go like do some extra conditioning or something, because like I was not ready for that. So, bro, yeah. And I was a freshman at BYU. That was my first experience. So I was like, I thought everybody had a Prize Bowl, bro. Nobody else has.
Nobody does.
It's crazy, bro.
There's a lot of things that BYU did differently that a lot of top tier programs don't do, and that's why like people gotta understand like the transition from going to independent to now Big 12. It's gonna be a big jump, because the quality of players that we've got right now. Not that they're bad players, but we don't
ballers,
have the depth.
Bro. Ballers at BYU.
We just don't have the depth, and that's why when people get hurt, you see a little bit of a jump off from the starters, and that's kind of can be the same thing about Utah too. Is that once you guys start getting hurt, and like it's tough to maintain that same level of performance that you guys had. I mean, dude, Cam, he's a baller, bro.
He's good.
He's a baller.
Yeah, he's him. Use him.
It's like I remember watching him last year, I think it was a 2021 year, because they had that Howley kid. What's his name?
That played against BYU.
Yeah, played against BYU.
Yeah. Was his last name Brewer?
Brewer. Yeah. Brewer. And so I think they either pulled him or he got hurt. Cam came in and hasn't left the field since, bro. Yeah. Straight baller for sure.
Yeah.
The program's gonna be in good hands with him. I wonder if he's is there any like how soon are you guys expecting him to come back? Because I know he had a pretty traumatic injury, right?
Yeah, he had a pretty bad injury. It's a hard injury, bro. Knees, they're so hard to deal with. It's a lot, and so I don't know the timetable, but I'm excited to be able to have that chance to play with him, bro. Because I'm with him every single day in rehab. Yeah. We chop it up and just try to encourage each other, because knee injuries suck. But going back to like, bro, you're talking about the drop off between the starters and the next guy. It's huge, bro, because every team has injuries in college football, and I think I keep talking about the relentless culture at Utah, bro. Like everybody is coached tough. You have to be tough. And so when you've seen it on the team this year, bro, like guys have gone down and then guys step up and they're built the same way, and so they're able to take it in stride. Even for me, like I was a second string, like I was slated as a second string going into the season. I was behind Connor O'Toole, who, baller, bro. Like Connor O'Toole, Jonah Ellis, Van Fillinger, like those guys can go, bro. And so I was behind Connor, and then Connor he ends up getting hurt, has a hip surgery or a groin surgery, and I step in and I'm like, all right, like gotta be ready to go, bro. It's gotta pick up where you left off. So it's super cool to see how there's some drop off in some positions, but other positions it's like
you see guys who step up.
Guys are ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And in respect to the guys who are waiting for the opportunity to come, because I mean you had guys. You have guys at all programs, I feel like, that are like that are just waiting, and then when they do, they make the most of the opportunity that comes, right? And that was something I felt like for me, I never really had, bro. I like people went down last year, and instead of, because it was next man up, right? Mm-hmm. Instead, they would move people from other positions to my position. Yeah, they had they had some defensive tackles move over to strong end. I'm like, whoa, hey, hold on,
like I've been here,
hold on, I've been here, dog. You know? It got so bad to where like I went back to the scout team, and I was like, bro, this is it's supposed to be my senior year, but I had one more year for COVID. It's supposed to be my senior year, and I'm still playing scout team. And at that time, it's like, dude, if you're playing scout team in your senior year,
it's bad. Yeah,
where you stand. Right?
Yeah, but there's, and then I know you like you wanted clarity with that, and you weren't afraid to go find that clarity. And I just felt like sometimes it wasn't there, which is it's just rough, bro.
Yeah, it was like in my last. You remember the the Notre Dame game?
I do remember the Notre Dame game because I fell asleep.
Oh, here we go.
Bro, I was sitting in the back with, sorry, I cut you off again.
No, go ahead.
I'm sitting in the back with Jan, and I'm watching the film, and I'm just like, nice. Their tackle's good. I remember that's the last thing I thought. Their tackle's good. Boom. Fell asleep, and then I had Tyler all in my face, like waking me up and stuff. It was, anyways.
Yeah, Tyler's a good guy, man. He's a motor guy, He's doing pretty well this year. But going back to the Notre Dame game, like that whole practice, I had one of the best practices I had that entire week. And I was super driven because what I was doing was when I got moved over to scout team, I'd play a few reps, but then I'd sneak my way back onto the field and steal reps from the other DNs. Yeah. It got to the point where Coach Hadley and Coach Tuyak were like, "Hey, bro, you got to take." I was like, I still stayed on, you know what I mean? Because that was how like driven I was to get playing time. And so because I did that, then Coach Hadley was like, "Hey, bro, you've been working really hard. Like, I'm ready to expect to play this week, right?" I should have known, like, when coaches oil you up like that, most of the time it's just to kind of settle any conflict or any of that in psychology they say like that cognitive dissonance that you feel, because like you feel it all the time, bro, when you're promised one thing but then you're not given it, Yep. And so I didn't play that game at Notre Dame, and then we get into the film room and I'm like, "Coach, what's going on, bro?" He's like, yeah, bro, and Coach Hadley was like, you just looked off in the pregame. The pregame?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
I was like, "What do you mean the pre?" I don't know. I didn't feel confident after watching you in the pregame. I was like, "Bro, the pregame, like the pregame is where we like get ourselves ready to play, right? It's not. It's not like
you don't gotta be all fired up.
It's not like a measure of of quality of performance, right?" I'm sitting there with Jan, and I look at Jan. I was like, "Jan, is there any merit to what he just said? That like I looked off in the pregame." And Jan is just like, "Dude, don't listen to what he said."
Jan is my guy, bro. I love Jan.
Dude, he's a straight shooter, bro. Yeah. He's a straight shooter. And
I love that about him, bro. Like whenever a guy had a question in the room, I remember like they'd ask, and Jan would be like, straight up, like, "Here's the answer." And as a player, like that's what you want, bro. Yes. Like you don't want gray area, because as a player, like this is what you do. Like football, this is my identity. This is who I am. And so when there's any gray area, it's like you start to question your own character, like who I am. And you can tell people not to do that, but as a football player, it's like it's impossible, bro. If you're really invested in it, it's impossible not to connect who you are as a person to who you are as a player. And so when guys they start to be shady with you and not give you a straight up answer, it's like, bro, like you start to look inside, like who am I? Like I don't know, I'm saying like a lot, but yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, because obviously as a player, you got to have a level of confidence to go out there on the field and perform. Mm-hmm. But when coaches, like what's being told to you isn't being represented in the way that they act and how they utilize you, you start thinking, okay, maybe I'm not as good as a player as they thought, or as they say I am, right? And that was frustrating for me because sitting there, I knew that I could play. I knew that I was on this roster for a reason, right? They don't just put on scrubs on the roster, especially at scholarship positions. And so I was like, okay, what's going on? And just there was no straight answer that was being given, and so that was a frustrating aspect. And so for college athletes, like one thing I always advise, and I said this in my last episode too, was like, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Like you got to bust your ass, fight for reps, constantly get in the coach's ear and and tell them like, hey, where am I at? Like, and I want to make sure that this like correlates with how I'm being treated on the field too, right? Yeah. And that's an important aspect I feel like should be told more, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Don't let them, you get the sweet talking and whatnot, but man, you going through recruiting, you know, bro, you go through recruiting, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be the next dude.
I'm gonna start?
Yeah. I'm gonna walk in, I'm gonna be starting as a freshman. Like,
I'm gonna win the Heisman?
Yeah. You're like, damn, like I'm him. Like I'm gonna do something crazy. Then you get there, like, oh, like bottom of the totem pole, and you gotta work your way up, bro. It's a funny experience, bro, but it's cool to have that like that connection with other people where you're like, man, I was the dude in my high school. I was that guy. Then you get to college, you're like, all right, so he was the dude at his high school. He was the dude at his high school, and I'm at the bottom of the totem pole, and I got to work my way back up.
Oh, this guy was Mr. Utah. Oh, this guy was Gatorade player.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
You look inside, you're like, man, what am I doing here? Like,
I was first team all CIF.
But that's a big deal, though. First team all CIF. Huh?
I mean,
oh, okay, my bad.
Back in the day, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, you know.
It's basically first team All-American. Pretty much.
Oh, wait, my bad. Yeah, sorry. Polynesian Bowl All-American, Logan Fano. Freshman All-American honors from FBU. Damn.
Yeah, not regular All-American.
That's what I'm talking about, bro.
Not that good, but.
Okay, last question that I had for you. And this is one that I feel like this one I put as last for a reason, but now when it comes to the fan base, right? Fan base and then the program itself. The knowledge gap between what the fan base thinks and wants for the program and then what is actually possible for what the football team can do, right? So for example, this year we're having a, kind of a crisis where the offense isn't performing as well, right? And so now the fan base is like, put the second string quarterback in, and then I'm thinking like, dude, that's not the real problem though. You know what I mean? It's not the quarterback. It's the guy, the surrounding cast around him. You know what I mean? Because he throws good balls, and so I feel like when it comes to like what the fan base wants, what they see on the TV screen, and then what's actually going on the field, how do you feel like the knowledge gap is between the fan base, right, at the U of U, and then the actual the program, the football program?
I feel like the two are pretty well connected. I think when we practice, we train, all that stuff, we want to give the fans something to be proud about, to be proud of. And Coach Scally, he brought us up after a fall camp practice, and he was like, man, if you guys are gonna have 60 million people in here watching, or 60,000 people in here watching you, I don't want to say million, but you're gonna have thousands of people watching you, millions of people watching you on TV. You're either gonna make yourself look good, or you're gonna embarrass yourself in front of the country. And I think all the boys, it's like, we have Twitter. You want to go on Twitter. You want to see the fans saying something good about you. The program knows, like, we want to give these guys something to be proud of, and to put a product on the field that makes them happy to say, like, I'm a Utah fan or I'm a BYU fan. And I think at Utah, it's pretty well connected. Obviously, the fans, they're going to want the best for the team, and they're going to think of the absolute best scenario, and they're going to want to go undefeated every year, which sometimes won't happen and sometimes will happen, but I think at Utah that it's a good mix of reality and
aspiration.
Yeah,
that's a good analysis there. I feel like when it comes to the Utah sports, especially at BYU and Utah, the fan base, because of the passion that they have for the program, and maybe the hatred that they have for the other program, dude. There's a little bit of an unrealistic expectation that the fan base has for the players, like for certain programs, like the fans have all the answers, right? It's like, dude, just throw the open guy, throw to the open receiver.
And you're like, okay, I would love to throw it to the open guy, but let's put you in the back, have all these linemen in front of you, have all these dogs rushing after you at the same time. They're literally trying to fluster you. Like, guys are paid to fluster you. And you're sitting back there and you don't have a fan's point of view. Like, I literally can only see this, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to give it to I have my progression and whatnot. Got to get it to the best guy. But that's why I think quarterback is the hardest position. You got to think. You got to be athletic. You got to be able to throw, obviously. And then, bro, if things don't go right, everything goes on the quarterback, bro. Like, let's point our finger at the quarterback, which is such a hard thing to deal with, bro. But like you said, it's a team sport, man. Everybody has to do their job. And, obviously the quarterback's job is probably the most important, just being honest. But everybody has to do their job in order to win games. And so it's sad to see fans kind of give up on a guy after he's not doing too well and then think, magically, let's throw in the other guy and he's going to do better. Like, there's a reason why that guy is in the spot he's in. Exactly. He earned that spot. I don't know. Yeah.
It reminds me of a story. So one of my mentors back in California, so he played at my high school. He's a Tustin alum, Tustin High, T-Town baby. So he played at Tustin, got recruited to USC, played at USC, was an All-American there, got drafted in the first round. And he was talking about how, he was sitting there with his mom. His mom was talking about one of the games, and the offensive line's just doing horrible. And she's like, "Come on, just block him."
Yeah.
And he turns, "It's hard, Mom." It's hard. Like, these are grown-ass men, right? Yeah. Grown-ass men playing the sport. Like, people on the field, obviously it looks different from the television, right? But when you're standing there next to this 6'6" offensive tackle who was a, stud at the program, like, it's a different... It just says it's a different reality for us, bro. Because you're sitting there on the field and you got fans yelling in your face. It's hectic because you got, you got coaches who are being paid to analyze and then implement the answer for what for what they see on the other team, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just so funny because I get it, man. Fan bases, you want to win, you want to be the best program that you can be, but at the same time, bro, you guys don't know shit, bro.
Nah. Dude, it's like I'm lining up, like you said. Against Florida, I'm lining up against this dude. He's like 6'7", 6'6", 6'7". He's like 370, bro. I'm looking at him like, bro, I have to go against this guy the whole game. Like, the whole entire game, I got to go against this guy. And it's not just that game, bro. It's every single week you got to go against somebody like that. Like, it's not easy, bro. It's not easy. And then, like, not being arrogant, but, like, on the other side, they got to look at me.
Oh, yeah.
Look at me, and I look like a skinnier DN, and to people they might think,
easy.
The average fan, like, oh, easy. I'm just gonna smash this guy. But like, offensive tackles, bro, when they see DNs that are a little slimmer, they're thinking, oh, I gotta kick kind of fast. Like, this guy's gonna be quick. And so it's just a different reality, bro. Like, yeah, it's.
What's your favorite pass rush move?
Favorite pass rush move? Oh my gosh, when I was a little kid. And in high school, I used the swim move all the time. I was a dog with the swim move, bro.
You and Josh seeing, bro. I knew I saw it. I knew I saw it.
Not shout out to Josh. No, just play. No shout out to Josh, but no, just play.
Oh, I seen the resemblance.
Dude, I'm saying a little swim move, but when I got into college, I started realizing, guys are smart, and so that's not really going to work. And then I learned, I can get kind of physical with guys. And so I think the move I started relying on a little bit more was long arm. Started using long arm
inside stab. Yeah. I think that was one of my favorite moves to use, just because when it comes to pass rushing, I feel like it's always, you're thinking chess game. Okay. You're not thinking, oh, I got to win this one. You're thinking, I got to set this guy up. Right. And that was something that my mentor had told me too in the NFL. It's like, it's a constant, like, brain mental battle. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously you can use the physical side, but when you play too physical, guys are going to start anchoring sooner, right?
Yep.
And then they're going to be bigger, so they got guys that can manhandle you, right?
Yep. It's 100% a mind game, bro. Like, there's times for me, I'll rush. Okay, it's kind of bad to admit, but I'll rush, and I know I'm not going to get to the quarterback. I know I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get there, obviously, and then if something shakes my way, I'll get to him. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get that tackle to respect one thing. And for me, that thing is speed. I'm going to get him to respect my speed. So if it looks like I'm running past the quarterback, really what I'm doing is I'm trying to get this guy to set up. Like, later on in the game, fourth quarter, third quarter, he's going to start opening up and turning and running at me. Then now he's turning and running at me, trying to run me around. That's when you can start throwing the moves. And for me, a long arm usually works.
And who's your guys' coach right now for the defensive line?
We have Coach Powell, who's the defensive ends,
Powell,
and
that's
then
right, yeah.
Coach Ellis is
Coach
the
Ellis.
D tackles.
Okay, okay. And how do you feel like they're? I mean, okay, obviously, Utah has been known for their defense. Like that's just a kind of a known fact. They play tough defense.
Yep.
They have a really great system. They put guys in the NFL. How would you rate your development there so far?
Dude, I'm gonna be completely honest. When I got to Utah, I was kind of embarrassed because I really didn't know what I didn't know as much as I needed to know about football, and I thought I knew a lot about football till I got to Utah. Then I started learning like the lingo that they use in the NFL, the what different twists are called, and what different coverages, bro. I started learning what linebackers, safeties, corners can do, which I didn't care, first of all, but like it was never required of me to learn that. And so like not only my knowledge as a defensive end has grown, but since my knowledge of just football and defense in general has grown, it's helped me out a ton in knowing, all right, I got to get to the quarterback this fast because we're in man coverage, and they're probably gonna run a fade, and the ball's gonna come out kind of fast, might run a slant, and so maybe I have to put my hands up quick, not gonna get there. Just stuff like that has helped me out a ton for sure, and it's all been learned at Utah.
And that's another thing that was frustrating for me because in certain programs, like they just tell you, hey, focus on your job, like focus on what you need to do, right?
Yeah.
And then at Utah, and it sounds like what you're telling me so far is like they teach you the whole scheme so that you understand how you fit in the scheme.
Coach Scally says that word for word. He says that word for word, bro. He says, because they're trying to get guys to play in the NFL, right? Like, and me, I'm one of those guys. That's my goal in life is obviously be a good dad, all that stuff. But like my selfish goal is I want to play in the NFL so bad.
Yeah.
And he tells us like if you want to be an NFL player, you want to play in the NFL, you got to understand football. Like you got to be smart. And it's not only just to get in the NFL, but to represent the university. They want to come in, like scouts will come in, and you want to be able to represent Coach Scally, Coach Powell. You want to represent all your guys well. Like this is what they taught me. And Coach Scally will say word for word, like know the defense and know how you fit in the scheme.
Yeah.
And,
dude, I wish I had that more because I honestly looking back and looking at the way that we ran our defense, if I had known that okay, on certain coverages I'm gonna have outside help, on other coverages you are the last line.
Yeah,
of defense.
you can't come inside. You got to stay outside.
Got to stay outside, right? And then understanding like, okay, on certain tendencies that offense has on first and long or first and short. Okay, short pass, so get your hands up. Like you had brought up getting your hands up sooner on the short when you know a short pass is coming, and then knowing you have time because he's in his 5-step drop, and they're probably looking for a progressive, a progression they're going to go through first read, second read, third read. You're going to have a longer time to set up a pass rush, right?
Dude, and it makes the game so much more fun, bro, because
Yes,
it slows everything down. I remember playing against UCLA, bro. Sorry, had a burp. Playing against UCLA, and that's when things started to kind of click for me. Like I felt like the knowledge of the game was starting to catch up with, what my ability and the things that I do to sharpen like my technique and whatnot. Yeah. My brain and my body were starting to connect, and it just became fun, bro. Because I'm thinking, man, it's 1st and 10, probably gonna be a run. So like against my run stance, align like it's gonna be a run. Know what runs they're gonna run out of certain formations. And then 3rd and 9, man, it's money downs. I get to go, bro.
Yep.
And then knowing, all right, I might get a slant back here. I might get a fade or whatever. Might run a bench, and I got to put my hands up quick, or I just got to keep going. Like it makes the game fun, and it goes back to just that chess match, bro. Football is such a fun sport, and it's literally like chess. Like you need to know your role and you need to play your role, but the coordinators play a huge part.
Yes.
The games they call, it's fun, bro. The reason why I think it's the best game on earth, bro. Yeah.
And probably, for you, probably think that it's the best program up there, even though it's not.
Yes, I do think Utah is the best program. If you couldn't tell already from this podcast, but yeah.
No, honestly, I got a lot of respect for the guys at Utah, and hearing your experience too just kind of solidifies the respect that I have for how they run their program. Because I think when I went there immediately after high school, on my recruiting trip, it was a lot. It was like it's business to them, right? It's like cutthroat. They don't care about I'm sure they maybe do care about that family environment and that brotherhood that you guys have up there probably is a good representation of it. But as a high school recruit coming into it, I was like, dude, I don't know if I can handle like meetings being like this, practice being like this. And that's ultimately why I chose BYU. And I think BYU was a good experience for me ultimately, but afterwards, I think I would have, I would have, if I would have transferred, if I had known how my career was going to end up being at BYU, just because I wanted to go somewhere that was going to utilize me and really like help me reach my potential, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's good to hear that you feel like that's what they're doing up there at that crappy ass school.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
my bad, sorry,
Bro, but no, for real, bro. Like the family aspect at Utah, like I feel family units. Yeah, how do I word this? But like families are together, and they usually go through the hardest things in their lives together, right? That's your blood related, which obviously makes it close. But like, what makes you family with somebody is, you know, the trials that you go through with that person and the fire that you go through with that person. And I think they understand that up at the U. And so you go through, you know, those hard practices, hard trainings, and then you start looking at the guys around you. You're like, man, I'm struggling, but these guys are struggling too. So we're one. Like these are my dogs. Like I would do anything for these guys because like I've seen them do anything for me and go to war for me. So I've definitely felt in that way a huge family vibe, and I just love the U, bro. I love being up there, and it's definitely been an answer to the prayers that I've been looking for a long time. So
yeah, I burned all my youth stuff, so I mean, maybe one of these days, you know,
I'll get you. Don't worry, I'll get you back, bro.
Hey, I know, because I know they have one of these hats. I think it's the kind of. Is Alex Caressa with Wooden Grill, bro? Those hats are so
clean, bro.
Bro, so clean. I need to hit that guy up and see if I can get one, bro.
His gear is tight, bro.
It's hella nice, dude. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on, bro. Honestly, when I was coming up with the podcast idea, like I felt like you fit like the profile that I was kind of looking for, because I know, dude. The thing is, like, there's a world outside of football, and I think you understand that. You've had experiences outside of football where you've had to kind of come to grip with like your identity and like your purpose and all that. And so that's ultimately things that I wanted to kind of talk about, because although football is an important aspect of life for us, right, for those who have played, it's not everything, right? And so it's cool to be able to talk with you and kind of realize that you have that same perspective, right? But I appreciate you coming on, bro. I guess before we kind of end the podcast episode for this week, I guess what are some like final remarks? Because ultimately this is a directed an audience that I have, right, which is going to be like this upcoming group of athletes. What are some things that you wish you knew about college sports and preparing for college sports, mentally, emotionally, whatever it is, physically, that you could give, you know, as a word of advice for those students or for those athletes?
Well, I would tell them, just when you get there. Well, I did everything I'm saying. Obviously, I've learned from experiences. Just be humble and be ready to compete. When I got to BYU, even when I got to Utah, I got there and I knew there was already going to be a preconceived notion, or like people are already going to have this idea of me before I got there, and it was up to me to, you know, prove them wrong. Like, you know what, I'm not that kind of guy. Like I like to be, you know, I'm a pretty cool guy, I like to think. And so just being humble and realizing that being competitive is the most important thing, but also building a bond with the guys that you're going to be with, or, you know, if it's females that are playing basketball, volleyball, whatever, like just being willing to strengthen those bonds with those people. Like those are going to be the people that go through some of the hardest times in your life. And that's how it is. Like college, for some reason, for a lot of people, is when, you know, you really find out who you really are. And so there's that. And then I like how you talked about there's a life outside of football. And I think that's something that I struggled with for a long time, and probably was one of the reasons why I dealt with a lot of mental struggles, was because I put a lot of myself in football. And so when that was taken away from me, or, you know, when I just don't have it anymore, it's like I start to struggle with knowing who I am as a person. And there's no cookie cutter path for anybody. Like you got to go figure out who you are for yourself. But just understand, at the end of the road, you're your own person. You're a human being. It's just a game at the end of the day. It's a fun game. I mean, it's an intense game, but at the end of the day, you know, some people might not be religious, but you're a child of God and he loves you regardless. So, yeah.
Appreciate that, bro. And I appreciate everyone that's tuning into the second episode of the Unfiltered Talk podcast. Appreciate having Logan on the episode today. I hope that there was a lot of things that we can kind of take and move forward with. And again, for those, you know, athletes that are in high school and are looking to play collegiate sports, it is a grind, bro. And just like Logan said, like you got to really know who you are, have your identity, and then understand your purpose moving forward. But On top of all that, bro, I appreciate you coming out, man, for real.
My
My
dog.
dog, bro.
My dog. Love you, bro.
Like
It was a good one.
like zoinks. All right, appreciate it, y'all.
Go Utes.